We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Tuesday, June 30th here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Hire. Great to have you. Also, Cheska's with us.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Woo!
And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're now into the second day of the work week, and whether you're at the office, commuting, or grabbing a coffee, you never know who you might run into. Sometimes a completely ordinary day can become a memorable one with an unexpected celebrity sighting. And with celebrities often appearing at restaurants, airports, shopping districts, or even office buildings, many people have at least one story usually about unexpectedly crossing paths with someone famous. So we're going to ask, have you ever spotted a celebrity at work or in a public place, Cheska?
So I actually have a very special experience. Do you guys all know the really big festival called Water Bomb?
Yes, it's really big.
It's huge, right? So I used to work at the company that actually created that festival.
That's fun.
So my job was to manage backstage. So I saw hundreds of, K-pop stars and celebrities. But other than the workplace setting, which is very unique, I lived in New York City, Manhattan for quite some time. And it's very easy to just go for a coffee or a meal and say, wait, isn't that a really famous Hollywood actor?
Just walking down, getting a bagel.
Just getting a bagel, walking their dogs. But fortunately, I've never had a huge crowd sighting where everyone's like, oh my God, where there's that famous person. It was more like, oh wait, I think I just saw that famous person, and then he would just, or she would just be casually strolling by. Yeah.
Who's the biggest person you saw?
I saw Taylor Swift.
That's a good one. That's a good one to see.
Yeah, very casually.
So cool. So what about you, Hyo?
For me, quite a few times as well. So when I worked at a TV station, it was quite natural to run into celebrities because the station is also their workplace, right? So I also often saw them at airports or on flights while they were traveling for their overseas schedules, I think. So I think these days, with K-pop and K-dramas gaining even more global attention, many celebrities are traveling abroad more frequently than before. So I do feel that spotting celebrities at airports has become much more common these days.
Right, that's why I'm so excited to have you on today to hear all your stories.
Right.
You actually work in the aviation industry. So with celebrities traveling overseas more often, it's easy to see why airports have become such a focal point for fans, media, and even public debate. So we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. Wherever they go, celebrities are rarely out of the spotlight. Their every move can draw attention both online and offline, often sparking discussion among fans and the public alike. And at airports, where fans, reporters, and travelers often gather, even a routine departure can quickly become a source of controversy. Questions about security, privacy, and whether celebrities receive special treatment frequently come into the spotlight. Today on News Generation, we examine the backlash over a certain K-pop idol's airport departure video, why many Koreans criticize it as special treatment, the recurring debate over celebrity privileges, and where the line should be drawn in the future. Just as we saw in a video, what may seem like a small moment at the airport can quickly spark a much larger debate online. So Hyo, what happened in the airport departure video that caused a lot of controversy and that video went viral online? So tell us more about this.
Right, so that issue began after a video showed the K-pop idol during an airport identity check, with some people questioning whether that celebrity had received any special treatment. Because normally, passengers are required to remove items such as masks, hats, or sunglasses. So airport staff can compare their face with their photo in the passport. So it's a standard security procedure that most travelers are already familiar with. But in the video, the idol was seen lowering a hat and mask only briefly before moving on. So as the video spread online, some people questioned whether that rules had been applied more leniently to a celebrity. In response, the Korea Airports Corporation said the same identity verification standards were applied regardless of whether the passenger was a celebrity. And it also said it will provide clear guidance on identity check procedures going forward.
Right, so while airport authorities insist that the proper procedures were followed, the footage left enough room for doubt to fuel a public backlash. But this isn't the first time celebrity treatment at airports has come under scrutiny. So what other controversies have been there over how celebrities use airports, Jessica?
Because as we saw in the VCR, the overcrowding can be extremely dangerous. So actually back in 2024, there was an attempt made to sort of allow celebrities to use the priority lane that the flight crews actually use so that they can have an expedited process. But before even the proposal could take place, there was a lot of backlash saying that it was unfair and it was a preferential treatment, so it never actually took place. But these kind of things sort of intensify these debates, especially after an incident that took place at the airport. Also because there was an actor's private security team that was under scrutiny because they were very aggressive in terms of checking the passengers. They even shot like flashlight at the people trying to take photos of the celebrity. And they, I think, checked the boarding passes of the passengers trying to access the lounge because the actor was also inside. Later, they were fined by the police for doing something that they weren't authorized to do. But I think this kind of ongoing debate and controversy shows the ongoing debate about how do we allow people to use the public space and also give them the security and the privacy for a very selected few. Yeah.
Right. So while some measures have been proposed to improve safety and crowd control, many have struggled to gain public support because of concerns over fairness. And that raises the question of how airports in other countries handle similar situations. So based on your experience as a flight attendant, what is the atmosphere like at overseas airports when celebrities travel?
Yeah, so from my experience in the aviation industry, the first thing comes to mind is safety is never something that we compromise on. So identity checks are a key part of airport security. So I don't really think there should be exceptions for anyone, including celebrities as well. That principle is the same at airports around the world. So of course, large crowds gathering to see celebrities can create safety risks. So that's why many overseas airports don't relax security procedures. Instead, they manage those situations by separating passenger flow. For example, Los Angeles International Airport and London Heathrow Airport operate private terminals that VIPs and celebrities can use for an additional fee, helping keep their movements separate from those of regular passengers.
So I think that's a really important point. So while approaches may differ from country to country, safety and security standards are generally viewed as non-negotiable. So with that in mind, why have then so many Koreans started to view this more negatively, and why has this caused so much controversy, Jessica?
Yeah, because I don't think it's the safety measure that is the problem. In fact, I think many Koreans would be very happy to follow like a manual or a protocol for the safety of everyone. But I think it's about fairness. Like, how do we address this sort of new manual or new security measure so that it doesn't feel like a preferential treatment or sort of kind of like a privileged treatment for the selected few because of just their fame. Because I think there's an issue going on about the public space and the right to access it for everyone. And I think for a lot of public people, they would like to have a very clear and very set manual to protect everyone. Because imagine you're standing in the line with your baby, you're standing in the line with your elderly parents, or you're disabled, and then just to see somebody get a privileged treatment because they have fame or a certain status, I don't think is a fair treatment for everyone around. Yeah.
So I think everyone would agree security is very important. Safety is also very important. So the issue isn't necessarily the measures themselves, but whether the rules are transparent and are being applied consistently to everyone. And also beyond the procedures, there's also the unique role of celebrity culture that plays in Korea. So how does then Korea's celebrity culture contribute to perceptions of special treatment, Payun?
So in Korea, as you all might know, there's a special word for this. We even have a word like 공항패션.
That's big.
Fashion. That's because celebrities' arrivals and departures have long been content in their own right way. So I think so fashion brands and the media often use those brief airport appearances to promote products or even to cover the latest celebrity news, making the airport feel almost like a stage. But the problem is that airports aren't just spaces for celebrities, fans, or other people involved, as just Jessica mentioned earlier. They are public spaces used by thousands of ordinary travelers every day. So when other passengers experience inconvenience or when celebrities appear to be treated differently, it's very understandable that people begin to see it as preferential treatment. So that's why many Koreans believe the same rules should apply to everyone at the airport.
Right, so I can see where that comes from. So airports may have become part of celebrity culture and marketing, but they remain public spaces used by everyone. So with safety, convenience, and fairness all at stake, finding the right balance is sometimes easier said than done. So we also wanted to hear directly from our viewers. So we ran a poll on the Arirang News YouTube channel asking, should celebrities have separate airport routes? And here's what the results showed. So our poll results were actually closely divided. So a slight majority of respondents, 55%, said celebrities should be allowed to use separate airport routes provided they're implemented for safety reasons and under clear guidances. Meanwhile, 45% felt celebrities should be treated the same as all other passengers, highlighting the ongoing debate between security concerns and fairness. So looking at the results, it's clear that it's a pretty close split, suggesting that while many people recognize the need for safety, concerns about fairness remain just as important. So to get a broader perspective on this, we're going to be joined by a K-pop fan who witnessed a K-pop group's airport arrival overseas firsthand. And that conversation will take place right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us now is Brittany, a K-pop fan from the US who saw a K-pop idol group depart from the LAX airport in 2018. So hello, Brittany. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so Brittany, how would you describe the atmosphere at the K-pop Idol's airport departure? Like, which idol was it? And just tell us all about it.
So for me, it wasn't their departure, but it was their arrival. And it was BTS.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Okay, imagine what that looked like.
I know. I'm surprised you survived.
That was back right after their first Billboard appearance, I believe. So it was around 2017. So it was right when they started becoming just massive in the US. And it was definitely an experience. There were so many people there.
Right, so our next question is, how does Korea's celebrity airport culture compare with Hollywood's?
So when it comes to Hollywood celebrities, there has never really been like an airport culture. Most celebrities keep their flight information as private as they can, so they aren't bothered at the airport. The only ones who really find out are like the crazy obsessed fans or paparazzi. And even if they do show up, they won't stand there for a photo op. But with K-pop idols, a lot more fans show up to the airport with the public information, and it can get a bit hectic. Since Americans aren't really used to having such access to the celebrities, we haven't really been able to adopt a responsible culture with that yet. When BTS had flown in, I wasn't just there as a fan. I was part of what was called the Army Protection Squad. And what we would do is we would wait for them to come out, and we formed two giant lines hooking arms so that they could have safe passage to their vehicle. And it worked pretty well. We were able to, hold back the fans. They got to their car, because that was kind of when this was very new to America. They didn't realize that this was going to happen. And then the next time it happened, we were all ready. And one of our head girls had gotten a message saying that they had safely made it to their hotel. And that was the first time that they had used the private exit.
Brittany, I think you can really talk about this as well, because you've actually witnessed how intense and crazy it can get when it's out of control. Do you think there are some safety measures that are necessary, in your opinion?
Since for Korea, I think it's pretty standard there for idols. Since, idols kind of use it for publicity, that was said earlier. And from what I've seen so much. It does. I've never seen it get like too out of hand in Korea. But I do feel like if it does get to that point where security and safety do become concerns for, both the idols, security, travelers, and fans, I think it should start going towards being more private about their travel plans, like American celebrities. Because you can't really have it both ways, where it's like, oh, we're coming to the airport and we're gonna have our little photo ops, but also we also need more security because we know all these fans are coming.
Right.
All right, Brittany, before I let you go, I have to ask you about this Army Protection Squad. So how does this work? Like, who's this organized? Is this organized by like their agency, or is it like a fan community thing that you guys do?
It was completely fan organized. It was so long ago, I can't even remember like how I came across it, or it was probably on Twitter. But yeah, we had like a whole Discord. We would sign up. We had like where we were gonna meet. We had, I think, after the first time we had done it, V had gotten a hold of one of our like purple ribbons that we had used during our little arm holding thing, and he had even taken a picture with it. So hopefully they were grateful for that. It seemed like they were, but yeah, it was completely fan organized, and we were just there to try to make it safer for them because we knew there wasn't going to be that extra security.
I mean, that's amazing. I think that's such a great example of like beautiful, like true fan culture in a way. So I'm sure they appreciated that. So that's so cool. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today, Brittany.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just spoke with our Zoom guests about how Korea's celebrity airport culture compares with Hollywood and other countries, what special airport measures may be necessary from a fan's perspective, and the situations in which extra measures for celebrities may be justified. So as the debate continues, attention is increasingly shifting away from who the passenger is and toward how crowded and potentially risky the situation actually is. So then what standards are needed to prevent future preferential treatment issues, hallyu?
Well, so I think the key is to focus not on who the passenger is, but on how risky the situation is, right? So I think that's why the focus has recently shifted away from creating separate airport routes just for celebrities. Instead, the goal is to establish standardized guidelines for managing large crowds. That way, we can protect both safety and fairness while reducing unnecessary controversy over preferential treatment.
Right, so that seems to be the direction policymakers are taking as well, focusing on clear situation-based guidelines rather than celebrity-specific exceptions. But beyond airport procedures, there may be a broader cultural factor at play in Korea's relationship with celebrities. So how does then Korea's fandom culture influence expectations for celebrities?
I think our Zoom guest actually nailed it when she said, you can't have it both ways. You can't have a mini photo op with nicely dressed K-pop celebrities standing up for a photo and then expect the photographers and the fans to be orderly and not to be excited. I think in a way there has to be some balance and some restrictions drawn in these public spaces, because there's a very famous saying, the airport is not a red carpet, it is not a fan event that they rented out, it is a public space and everyone has the right to access, everyone has the right to travel, right? And we do want the safety of the celebrities as well as those who are traveling. So I think there should be some restrictions, some guidelines and some manuals so that everyone can travel safely, and also the fans can actually enjoy their moments with their celebrities safely, and perhaps in that way people like Brittany would not have to be there to do the protection squad but actually enjoy the sighting of their favorite celebrity.
The fact that fans felt the need to do that, I think says a lot about what's going on.
Precisely, it really does, yeah.
Right. So as K-pop continues to reach audiences around the world, celebrity travel will likely become even more frequent. The challenge will be finding standards that protect safety without compromising fairness. After all, airports are shared public spaces where the same principles should inspire public trust. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Hallyu
Having me today.
and also Cheska.
As always, mine. Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And wherever you're headed next, hopefully you'll get to enjoy the celebrity treatment as well, but without the controversy. We are News Generation.